All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the interview show. Today we're interviewing Poxal. He's someone who I've known for about 5 years, maybe 6. I don't know. Around that. Not around that long. Sounds about right.
We've known each other for about 2 months.
2 months. Okay. He has a main channel where he talks about like anime, manga, mostly Bleach, to be honest with you. If you like Bleach, that's a channel you want to go watch right now instead of this interview. But he also has experience with video editing, which we'll talk a little bit about. And he also has his own podcast, which I'll bring up later in this interview. But I'll let him take over and introduce himself properly.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm Poxal. Some people call me Poxal. Whatever fancies your boat. I make Bleach videos. I used to meme and say I was a My Hero Academia YouTuber after I posted one My Hero Academia video.
I mean, it was a good video.
You know, I think whoever edited that video must be a really good editor.
It sucks though that My Hero Academia didn't end and you just released it like totally like wrong.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I make videos on the anime and manga, but like Drew said, mostly Bleach.
I did want to ask, what does your channel name mean to you?
My channel name means the random letters that I put together to form a word that sounded good.
I guess so. I will say it's funny because I remember in the past, every time I typed in Poxal, there's this other channel called Pixel that shows up. It's like at 200-something thousand subscribers. And they always have the correct... Oh, Poxal. That's what.
Yeah, he started after me, and he makes Stardew Valley content.
But I remember a while back we talked about a joke for like April Fool's Day, just make a Stardew Valley video and see what would happen.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he makes Stardew Valley content. He started after me too, and somehow he grew way past me. But he did like those day 1 through day 100 videos that were like blowing up.
Oh yeah, I remember like Minecraft and a bunch of other games did similar things.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, what made you want to cover like anime and manga for your content? Or did you have other ideas before this?
I've been doing YouTube for probably since 2015, I want to say 2015 or 2016. Done a bunch of different stuff. Started with gaming content. I think at the time it was just because I was interested in anime that I made the switch to anime content because that was what I was watching. So when I was going to start a new channel, I was like, let me start a new channel based on the content I was viewing. I was no longer like watching Let's Plays and game content like that anymore. So anime just kind of became the thing because I was really into like hiding in public and Gigux content at the time.
No, that's understandable. I still watch Giguk occasionally. I really like when he goes over the like seasonal anime videos and just covers them all together because it makes it easier.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, you know what? I'll watch this some point.
Tells you what to watch.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Like he gives like I believe it's his opinion or like his wife's. I think Sydney also interjects sometimes in videos now, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, Giguk is still, I mean, I'm sure he still makes really great content. I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube anymore.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, when I do, it's usually finance YouTube. But I still think Giguk is a great YouTuber. I just haven't really watched any of his more recent stuff.
I think
the last video I watched was his free run video.
It's funny you mentioned finance YouTube, because the only things that I've really been watching is like world politics plus like unemployment videos. There's this huge trend right
videos
now, talking about like how bad like the US is as far as people like not being employed, and they get a ton of views. Like they talk about like mentorships dying, like trade school, college not being valuable. There's a lot of interesting stuff like they're actually saying.
And a lot of them are made by computer science majors that just lost their jobs.
You know what? I could believe that.
Computer science, the new unemployment degree.
So what inspired you to start your current channel? Like how has it evolved like from making different stuff, you feel like?
That is a good question. I would say similar to the previous one, kind of like hiding in public Gigux content just kind of made me start it. And I kind of fell into my own style I wasn't really. I tried to start out by making more like funny content similar to Gigux, and I realized that wasn't really my personality. I kind of put my own personality into it, made my own style, and then I started making Bleach content because there wasn't really a lot of people making Bleach content back then. Now there is. Back then there wasn't. So it just started being Bleach videos mostly. And occasionally I would spread out to something else that I enjoyed reading at the time or watching, like Chainsaw Man or Solana. And now it's like every 6 months I'll just drop a video on something I enjoy.
I will bring up here as a small exclusive thing for people who do watch this channel. One of my next what ifs is going to be based in Chainsaw Man. I have art commissioned and it's going to be... I still need to get a thumbnail proper for it, but that is what's going to be next, like, new what if content as far as that goes.
Chainsaw Man's great, and I don't think there's a lot of what if content for Chainsaw Man too.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that, honestly. Like, it seems like there's a lot of characters you could put in verse, see how far they get, and also different character dynamics, because the way that the writing's done, if you change stuff with it, it becomes like its own thing, I feel like, as far as what if content goes, especially the emotional aspect, I feel like, with Chainsaw Man.
No, definitely. I fully agree.
And that's me not trying to spoil things, because for people who only watch the anime, it kind of gets worse as far as bad stuff happens, fortunately.
It's a little sussy.
You can call it sussy. Okay, I guess that is true. It's not a lie.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth.
I wanted to ask, what was your last video you're most proud of?
The last video I posted, the Uber one.
I guess that's fair.
I really enjoyed making that video. That was a good one. But before that one, I really liked my Solana video. Technically the Ohime one, but that one's a re-upload because the original got struck down.
I mean, that's how it goes. I feel like some stuff would be worth reposting, especially when stuff gets claims and whatnot. Like, it's totally worth redoing stuff, especially if you like the video. I think a lot of creators forget that.
Exactly. Though when I redid it and changed the music out, I tuned the music incorrectly with the volume of my voice, so it's painfully obvious. It's painful to watch at parts because the music is too loud.
I know you've done a lot of collabs, so when it comes to a normal video collab for your channel or someone else's, what's communication like between you and the other creators? And is it mostly hands off once you have the project off the ground, or is it more back and forth between you and the other creator?
So it depends on the project. I've done projects where they are kind of hands-on both ends. I've done projects where they are just hands-off, you don't even write the script gets sent to you and you just read the script. So I've done a mixture of both. I will say I do prefer the hands-on, being more involved when I'm collabing with somebody, whether it's on their channel or bring them on my channel. Because I can read a script I wrote myself. You know what I mean? Don't need to send that over to somebody else to necessarily cover. But yeah, I've done quite a few collabs. A lot of them are interviews, actually. Even though it's been over 2 years, 3 years since I was doing those. A lot of the collabs were just bringing somebody on the channel and just talking, unscripted for 40 minutes to an hour, just discussing different topics, usually involving Bleach.
I am excited for one project that may or may not happen that we discuss. Hopefully that'll happen, but it's not necessarily that. But to be fair, it is collaborative in nature and other aspects is the best way to put it without spoiling what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Probably my favorite collab was my interview with Doug, the voice actor.
That one
was pretty cool.
I really enjoy his work as Zenigata and a few other characters. I don't know if you checked out other dubs he's done, but I know a decent amount of his repertoire. Yeah, he's the Crow in Demon Slayer. The Kasugai Crow. Are you serious?
Yeah, he voices the Crow in Demon Slayer.
Oh, okay. For a second in my head, I was thinking of Crow Hogan from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. That doesn't make sense. But I was Demon Slayer, it's oh, he's one of the birds. Just makes bird noise. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
I did want you to tell me a bit about your podcast, actually, so that way people can know a bit about it. If they want to check it out.
Yeah, the big three.
Yeah. But it's technically a group podcast. I probably should specify in the intro. My
Yeah.
bad, everybody.
No, you're all good. Yeah, no, the big three. It's the biggest podcast on the internet. Definitely. Hey, we just kind of sit down and just have a conversation. These days, there's no topics. It's also very inconsistent when we do record, but it's still going on. We're still doing the episodes, just not at the same rate. We actually just spoke in the group chat about working on another episode to get up because it's been a while. It's been 8 months since the last one, but we just talk about anime. Sometimes there's a topics, but most of the time it's just us rambling and then a topic creates itself.
I think one thing for me is like I'm really good when it comes to like the networking and talking with other people, but more of a struggle for me trying to do stuff like by myself, which is really funny, like trying to get a project off the ground as far as like motivations and stuff, because it's always been a lot easier for me to bounce off other people. Like I know some point, but when I get the chance to talk to Sage, who's gonna be retired almost for a full year soon, like 6 months away till his full retirement technically. I mean, technically he retired earlier. It's just publicly didn't say anything because it was on and off again. But I think what I've learned is that trying to help other people recently get back in the swing of things. Like one of my friends recently is having like a really important medical thing happen. And he was kind of concerned, like, well, I can't afford like editing and stuff and whatnot. I was like, I will help you get something edited if it means you can still make stuff. Because I'm concerned if you like can't record and stuff, because obviously when you're out for who knows how long with certain surgeries, like, and how they go, it's like I feel like it's important as a friend to be there for people like that who haven't been doing much, because he had other stuff going on in his life, but he's getting better. It's the funniest thing that I think about is a lot of people make some of their best content is they're usually at a job that they hate and they have so much passion towards content creation that they're doing. I'm not even joking. Like those are people that I've ran into that have made some of the best stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think when other people are involved, there's people that are relying on you. So it kind of creates that motivation for itself. When you're doing a project on your own, you are your only motivator. It's like, it's not just the case for YouTube, but I guess also any self-employment style job where when you decide when you work, when you decide what you do, then you're the only person that's there to motivate yourself. But when you're doing something that's with a group, you have multiple people there that are like gonna help you finish something, because there's a sense of, oh, I gotta get this completed because I don't want these people who have already sent me all this stuff or are expecting me to send them this stuff for a project to kind of be let down, I guess, in a way, if that makes sense. And I feel that too. I mean, when there's a collaboration, there's definitely a level of, I gotta get this done by this date. Similar when like you're editing for someone, I guess, because I know we both have experience with that, where it's like, oh, I gotta finish editing this by this date because this person's paying me for it. Whereas when it's like your own content, it's like, oh, I can kind of finish this sort of whenever because I'm the person that's waiting to receive it.
Yeah, I get that. I think one thing that I found is that, especially with editing, like I only edit for very few people now, and part of it's the economy, part of it's just other stuff going on. But the big thing that I found is if I care about the subject matter they're talking about, I've edited a lot better videos and results compared to stuff that I don't care as much about certain things. And that's not to say that I won't edit something that I don't care about as much. I just don't think you'll get the best product from that, is the best way for me to put it.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, like, for your video process, like back when you used to edit for yourself, how long did it typically take you to make like one video? Like what software did you use?
Editing my own content or editing for other people?
Like for yourself. I think I'd start with that.
Yeah.
It makes most sense.
Yeah, so I use Premiere Pro, their student Adobe bundle thing. It really depends on the length of the project and what the project is. It's something like a podcast. That's a big difference from like a normal video. Like a podcast usually takes me the amount of time that the podcast is, like times 2. So it's a 1 hour podcast. It typically takes me 2 hours to edit. But something that's like a normal video, like let's say a 10-minute video explaining the 5 war potentials of Bleach. Something like that typically takes me, I can usually finish about 2 minutes of editing for every hour I put. So like a 10-minute video would be like Yeah, about 5 to 7 hours, 5 to 6 hours of editing because there's audio editing on top of that. And then like there's, like finishing the project. I've rewatched and re-stylize everything to make sure it fits. The first run at least takes about 5 hours.
I think that my editing top speed is between like a 30-minute to a 40, like 5-minute something video. I was able to edit something within like 2 days. And usually I'm someone, these days people come for, they want something done more quickly. Like it's like, I have a sponsor deadline. I want someone to either like ghost edit or just get something done. I'll do stuff that's under a table and I won't even put it in my portfolio because that's just what I do sometimes. But honestly, I've been wanting to edit more for myself recently, so I've been taking less of those.
Yeah.
Because I prefer to be credited for my time for stuff, so I don't do it as often as I used to.
Oh, definitely. And the industry definitely, from the perspective of somebody who used to edit for money, it definitely, you have to be quick for the money to be worth it. When I was editing for other people, I would edit a lot quicker, same quality, but just quicker, because I knew in my head, like, oh, it's not good for me unless I'm able to do 4 minutes in an hour. Otherwise, I'm making less than minimum wage, or 3 minutes. You know what I mean?
I get that. I think the problem that I have is sometimes I'm a bit slower at things, but it really just depends sometimes, I feel like.
That's fair.
Like, if I crush down like 2 Monster Energy drinks between 2 days, I can totally get stuff done. Funny enough, I bought like 50 of them for like $60 recently today. That was crazy.
That is a good deal right there.
Well, there's a dollar store closing, like that's a couple like miles away from where I'm at.
So and they had a bunch.
I'm debating whether or not to go back there, like in a couple of days. I might.
Gotta stock up.
Yeah, I have them like literally on the floor next to my bed. But like I'm literally just didn't have space to put them. Well, I put a couple in the fridge, to be fair. I had some like coffee flavored ones, but I might go back. Who knows? But I did want to ask, since later on you started hiring people like for your channel, like how do you balance your budget for that, and what size would you recommend like content creators to have an editor?
I'd say you can start hiring people once you've had you should wait until you have a video that hits 100K views before you start hiring somebody.
Yeah, I would say about that as well.
Because that video will continue to grow and it will kind of supplement the videos that don't do as well. I mean, to this day, one of my videos is still bringing in like 800 views, 500 views a day.
Oh yeah.
Doing nothing. Like no posting whatsoever.
Well, we need to fix that some point.
Yeah. So that video kind of supplements the not posting, or like the videos that don't perform as well, because in the grand scheme of things, when you're hiring somebody to edit a video, you're probably not going to profit on that video unless it does pretty well. Like we're talking like 20,000 views.
I think the other scenario I would recommend people is if you like are working like full time or something, you have enough disposable income. Like if you don't want to like smoke or like go Starbucks like every other week, theoretically you could hire an editor relatively not that bad, I think.
That's the case too. If YouTube is something that you want to do because you enjoy it, but you find the editing to be tedious or something that you don't really want to do, then do the math. I mean, if let's say 2 minutes of editing takes me an hour to do, and my video is 10 minutes long, that's 5 hours of my life. If somebody's willing to edit that 10-minute video, like $5 a minute, let's say, $50. Is $50 worth 5 hours of my life not having to put in, with the editing potentially being better depending on the person you're hiring? So there's that question too, like is it a time commitment? And it's different for every person. I mean, some people are working for minimum wage to where it might be a more difficult decision. Other people are making 100K a year, and financially it doesn't have to make sense if it's a hobby. You can see it as a hobby that you're sinking money into, not as a business, but as a hobby. But you can also, I guess, see it as a business too. Sometimes businesses take money to go off, if you're looking at it from that business angle. But it works in either cycle that you're looking at, whether it's business or, I think a hobby makes more sense in investing money early on. If you're looking at it from a more business side, then you need a video with 100K.
Wasn't there that financial YouTuber who like, oh, I'm in debt because he spent like 60 grand on interviewing people and didn't consider budgetary reasons why he was doing that. Like,
oh yeah,
I thought that was
definitely.
crazy. Like, he was trying to copy a more successful person. It's like, sure, you can try that, but the amount of money it took to produce that content for 60K, you could probably get multiple, like, smaller type of channels going that are more niche, that are faceless, and made way more money. I was just surprised, like, when that video came out as a content creator.
Definitely. And I mean it, like even if your channel isn't monetized, if it's a hobby that you enjoy, it's not a bad thing to put money into and pay for editor.
Yeah, I'll say, like, I have, like, a secret
yeah.
side channel that I'm doing, and, like, I pay for thumbnails. Like, because I care about, like, the content I'm posting, because it's like a progression series, basically. Like, it's not necessarily like a vlog, but it's like progress like I'm making, like, in a game, basically, is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, like, 15 to $20 for a thumbnail, and I only post, like, every so couple months, sure. That's not that big of a deal in the long run.
No, definitely. I mean, it's the same thing if you look at from a like let's say I'm posting once a week, paying somebody to edit a 10-minute video, $5 a minute, $50 a month. That's $200 a month. What other hobbies do people have? And plenty of them people put more than $200 a month into. Fishing is expensive. Hunting is expensive. Those are some pretty common hobbies for a lot of people. Like, if YouTube is your hobby, then it's not that big of a deal to sink $250 a month into. If you have that room in your budget. If you don't, then that's a different story. Not telling people to go do YouTube on a credit card, you know?
I think where things get very pricey, that we'll talk about convention experience later, but I think if you start doing it too early, you start burning money, because that's one thing that I ran into, because it's like, I wanted public speaking experience, and because I did a couple of, like, convention panels, like, I lost money basically. And it's like, was it worth it to spend time and network with people? Kinda. It helped me learn to get better at it, was the big thing for that. Because when I went to Otakon, like, a couple of years ago, like, I showed up, like, in staff photos, because, like, at a staff party, and thankfully one of my friends, like, knew some people. It's like, hey, so-and-so is, like, having a birthday party. You want to just bring, like, some drinks, they might let us in? It's like, sure, I'll go hang out with some random people for a bit, because I felt like I needed that experience. Like, even though I'm not a huge drinker myself, like, I'm fine just going in for a bit. Like, that was funny with, like, how, like, wasted like, Sage was at that time. I feel so because I left at a certain point, because there were just people, like, when people get pretty drunk, they get kind of, like, annoying. It's like, you know what, man, it's almost like 1 a.m. I wanted to try to sleep, and that trip was kind of a nightmare, because even though I didn't pay for that portion of the hotel, I only had to pay for, like, 2 nights out of, like, the 4 I was there, because I was staying with Sage, like, sleeping on a couch. There was these curtains that didn't shut, and they had, like, a light just shine in the room, because it's, like, an open floor plan. So I couldn't sleep at all. So I was, like, sleep deprived for, like, part of the convention, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It's just how things go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk a little bit about your experience going to, like, Anime Expo, and like going to, like, the biggest, like, anime convention. How you feel about it?
I feel broke from it.
Oh yeah, well, it's right what we were talking about.
No, yeah, I mean, Anime Expo is expensive. You can do it cheaply. Don't get me wrong, you can do it cheaply.
I will say it's something that I want to go probably once in my life. And that's it. I probably won't ever go again.
You know,
I mean, maybe twice. Like, I have, like, a 2-time convention, like, limit to myself.
That's fair. I'm probably not going to go this year. I've been to the last 3, but I'm not going this year because I want to go to Japan later. So I'm like, I'd rather save $1,500 from that trip and put it towards the Japan trip.
Yeah, one of my other friends does, like, construction work and went to Japan for, like, a month. He said it's totally worth it, but I think for me, I would rather go with other people. I don't think I'd like going by myself as a problem. Like, even if I was, like, filming, like, as a camera person, I'd rather do that than go by myself and just feel, like, isolated, like, part of the time, because that's what I get from people who've, like, gone by themselves, like, who are either content creators or people who can afford to make that big of an expense. It's like, it's kind of nice, but it's like, if I have no one to talk to, it kind of feels very lonely, which is
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do. But yeah, AX is fun. You'll never see a bigger community of anime fans than when you go to Anime Expo. But it is also tiring. When you're done with Anime Expo, you feel like you need a vacation for your vacation.
that was the
There's
last.
so many people.
That was my last experience with like MomoCon, basically. Like someday I'll talk about that sort of story of people, but
Now just imagine if it's 300 to 400,000 people.
yeah, I think that also just seems like too many people. But I am curious.
I mean,
like
every room is crowded.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. It's very hard to find a space for yourself to just decompress at AX, and it is exhausting long days, but it's fun. You'll just be walking, you'll see so many cosplayers. Every second person is cosplaying. So like out of the 400,000 people there, like 200,000 are in cosplays, and they have cosplay gatherings that have bigger showings than any other convention. It's cool events that have things that people just don't see. I mean, the Bleach interviews took like 6 months before they were officially posted that you saw on Anime Expo. And you get to see things before people as well. Episodes of anime. Like casually we would watch a random anime, an episode that doesn't come out for 3 weeks. Like Dungeon People. We saw the first 3 episodes of Dungeon People when the first episode hadn't even been released yet. So not that the Dungeon People is well known by any means, but it's just a cool experience. It's a feeling of exclusive. Like you're exclusively seeing these things, even though they come out only a week or two later for the public.
I think the closest experience I have to that is the fact that I got to see Infinity War before a bunch of other people did, and that was crazy as far as that goes. Like the other funny one I saw was Captain Marvel, because I saw it before a bunch of like the online drama started. So it's like, from my perspective, it's like I didn't think it was that terrible. like it is it the fact I got to see it early? Maybe, but it's like I feel like I'd still judge media based on what it is.
It's a strong, independent woman. That's why. Not to get political. That's why people hate it, because they're sexist.
I guess so.
No, I don't think Captain Marvel is horrible. I don't think it's good either.
I will say the deleted scenes look a lot worse. Like there's one where like she's beating up like this biker guy, and it felt so out of place. Like if they put that in the actual film, which I'm glad they did. That would made her look a lot worse.
There's a lot of people that think it's like the worst thing they've ever seen, like a 1 out of 10. To me, Captain Marvel's like a solid like 5. Like it's not bad. It's not
I would put it higher. I would put like a solid like 6 out of 10, but that's not even that much better in context.
Yeah.
What was one thing you learned about yourself while doing like content creation?
Stop trying to be like other people. I feel like a lot of the time when you're doing content creation, you're trying to be and make content similar to other creators. But the biggest thing is finding your own niche. You know, like doing your own personality instead of trying to copy other people's personality, because painfully people can tell. So I think that's a lesson that's sort of more YouTuber-y like, but kind of from the creative aspect is be creative. YouTube is a creative platform that rewards creativity. Not always, but for the most part, I would say, yeah. Unless you're a serial killer, then please try to be someone else. Don't be a psychopath and make psychopath videos.
So I wanted to ask like how you balance like making topical videos to more like passion projects, or how that evolve it felt like, because
I feel like I kind of have that. I just kind of make what I want to make sometimes, then other times I feel like, oh, let me make something I think will do well.
I guess that's true. Sometimes it's just coincidence that something's topical.
Yeah, like when I made the salon video, that was something I wanted to do. But then when I make like a reaction video to the stream, that was something I wanted to do but was topical. So I guess it's just I kind of make what I want to make when I want to make it, and sometimes it's topical, sometimes it's something I want to do. Sometimes I make something because I think it will do well, sure. Other times I make something because I think I'll enjoy making it, and then it just happens to do well because the topic is interesting. I think both routes are fine. Like you can make a video because you think you're doing well. Just never make a video that while you're making it, you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to make this. The second you start feeling, oh, this isn't really the video, I'm just making this for numbers, that's when I personally stop. It's not a bad thing to not stop. I think YouTube is, at the end of the day, for a lot of YouTubers, it's a business, and doing things for numbers can make sense. Not for me personally, because I'm not really doing it for financial gain, but I don't think like it's bad to do it for financial gain, if that makes sense. As long as you don't make slop content. I hate slop content.
I mean, to be fair, I don't make content as much for financial gain. Like, my thing is there's several times where I even edited for people with like either like as a trade or like different compensation besides monetary, because there's sometimes where I care about a project that I'd rather have it out than not see something exist at all, is my thing.
Oh yeah, kind of like the thing that we were talking about in private that I'm not going to go too in depth in case it doesn't happen, but kind of like something like that where there isn't monetary gain.
To be fair, the project we're about to embark on will take a while. I'll put that in the context for viewers, because for my path, I would need to be watching a lot of different episodes for this thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's other stuff that like I want to do. Like, if you want to talk about, you could talk about the few videos I pitched for your channel that you did. We could talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, no. When Drew says make a video, make the video. I mean, everything that you've pitched has done well. Trying to think what did the worst. I guess the Bleach read through Bleach order video, I guess, did the worst out of them.
That is true. I think that some people just were unfortunately not as interested in the light novels I thought they would be.
And I mean, that one still did 7K, almost 7K.
Yeah, it picked up later. I know it didn't start great, for sure.
Yeah, and then
I know the watch order is one of the biggest videos on your channel, I think.
Yeah, that one was pitched by you, as well as the movies video, the ranking the Bleach movies.
Yeah.
And that one is another video that's one of the bigger videos on my channel. I think it's top 6.
Yeah,
top 6 or top 7 on the channel. The recap. Oh, wait, I know what the one recommended.
That one's the biggest thing on your channel.
Yeah. Separating the recaps, the big recap video into separate parts as well, and posting those. The recap for the first Bleach arc is probably the worst video that you recommended doing, but then the Soul Society one did really well. So
I still think that once you finish doing that, like, just get a thumbnail, putting the rest of them up there, like, it's good for people who want to have like recaps for individual things, because some people don't need like the full encapsulation, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially 1,000 Year Blood War, with that coming to the end. I do plan to do the rest of them.
I mean, it's done. You don't have that much of an excuse besides getting a thumbnail, to be honest.
Yeah, I just have to get a thumbnail for it, and then that's it. It's good to go.
I don't think it's a bad thing, like I said. I think the only thing that I personally would want is more like summaries for the actual light novels, because I was watching a video like by Wendigo. He's not in the anime community particularly. He has talked about like Uzumaki and other like stuff before, but he was talking about the Cane Yellow, like that book basically. And I thought it'd be interesting to like discuss like the importance of like each Bleach novel, and like how different characters like in the world itself, like how important they are in the context of the story. Because I was really impressed the fact that he was able to make a video about a book where there's not that much like pictures or anything, and able to encapsulate someone into it. Like, that's what impressed me.
I guess every video at least being decently researched. I'm not gonna name names. The video never made it to public eye. But the one thing I never want to do is make and produce a video that is so obviously wrong. Again, no names will be named. There was one person that I was talking with, and he was making a video, and it was about Bleach, and he said this character never got his Bankai when the character in the manga of Bleach, and the character has a Bankai in the manga of Bleach. So that is just something that's so plainly wrong. So making sure like future content never has something like that in it.
I think a huge thing, there's a lot of people who've been like using the AI for their scripts and like voiceover. And it was funny, I got a comment the other day. It's like, I'm not used to like hearing a person. I literally commented, it's like, if you want to support real humans, there's one right here. And they basically liked the response. So that was kind of nice.
No, yeah. I mean, that's I asked the YouTuber how he got that like such a wrong thing in a script. Like anybody who's seen Bleach would know was wrong. And he said, "Oh, I had ChatGPT write the script."
That's so embarrassing because, like, even for like Naruto and other stuff, there's so much dedicated like fandoms creating wikis. Like, you could just look up the question and the answer would have been right there if he bothered to do the bare minimum research
and just literally double check his work. To
You're
me,
fine.
why make content if you're just producing slop?
I think the thing is there's a lot of people, especially grifters, who think like, oh yeah, YouTube's easy money. It's like, the thing is the viewer will find out eventually, like, do you actually care about what you're making? No. It's like, then why should I support you at a certain point? And
no, definitely.
there are a few creators that you and I still watch that like are in the web space that they're not like using AI for like voiceover, but they're definitely using like AI for like scripting 100%. And it just surprises me like how people support the content, because it looks so bad. The editing is like atrocious. It's like, who's paying for this? Like, there's people like paying memberships to see like exclusive like videos. It's like, I feel like that's something pretty scummy in my opinion.
That I don't understand. But what I do understand is I don't think it's necessarily wrong to use AI to assist you in making the projects. I mean, I'll sometimes with my scripts I'll have AI edit the grammar or edit like the script itself, like just like give me thoughts on my scripts, and then sometimes I'll make edits. But the issue is when you're using AI to fully write the script, then to me there's no point, or write the video. There's no point in making the video, like unless like you're trying to produce slop for the sake of making money, I guess.
I mean, I've seen a lot of like article sites turn into that, unfortunately. Like, they fired the real writers, have AI write stuff. I don't know how they're still making money, to be honest.
I hate the AI section of YouTube, because to me, as much as YouTube doesn't like this, YouTube starts with the word you. You know what I mean? Like, it should be the only platform there that doesn't have all this AI slop. But like when you have it write your own video, you know, like completely from scratch, and you don't even edit the script that you're receiving, or and then you have it edit the video for you and record the audio. Like one of these things is fine individually, as long as you're still overviewing the project. Like if you don't want to share your voice with the world, I can understand that. And you're using AI for the voice. To me, I can understand that. But just make sure that you're at least editing the scripts that you're getting produced by AI. Even if in my preference, I think you should write them.
I think the problem's that, at least technologically, we've jumped the shark a bit going towards generative AI when we should have more slowly introduced this, I feel like. I think that would have been a better route versus how we're seeing stuff now, and I think people would be acting like way less negative towards it, because even I hate many aspects of AI for sure, but I think that's because it wasn't rolled out how it should have been, I feel like.
Like it's kind of like the big jump from like the flip phone to the smartphone. We were just like there in like a year, you know?
The funny thing is,
like
we technically weren't. We had like weird in-betweens. Like we had like Blackberries that still had keypads but had touchscreen. We had stuff that was in the middle, like for phone technology. And people are saying, oh, it's gimmicky, which it was at the time. And then they eventually have Apple come in. It's like, okay, we're going to change the game with this, basically.
Yeah, and those in between, some of them were definitely popular. Like I remember the BlackBerry when it was coming out.
Like there's a whole documentary on like BlackBerry that apparently is really good.
Blackberries were pretty cool. But still, the common phone at the time, at least from my experience, was the flip phone before they did the, iPhone. They did the slidey phones too. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh yeah,
so I guess the jump was kind of bigger when it came to AI. I mean, it was just like a big change.
The thing is,
technology moved very quickly.
I think the best way to describe it's more like the public aspect, because we had AI and stuff for YouTube for years as far as recommendation algorithms and such. But the thing was, the public end didn't know about it because proprietary software. When people don't know, it's more like private, like closed source. Like you can't see what companies or whoever's making stuff going on.
Yeah, and then OpenAI kind of came into the picture.
And the more that we learn about like Meta, OpenAI and stuff, like a lot of their training data was done basically unethically using copyrighted works, and we finally had like I think Universal, a bunch of like music studios are now suing like a generative like music like AI
Mhm.
thing, and that will definitely set precedent, which I think sorry AI companies, I don't think you're gonna win against Sony, UMG, and all of them combined. They're gonna hit you, and they're just
We'll
gonna
kind of see what happens. That's kind of what makes Grok so different, is because it's owned by XAI and it used
Yeah.
strictly X to train itself. All the users that agreed essentially when they were using X for their information to be used. So whether Grok is a good AI is a different story.
Grok is
But
gonna be interesting because I think as soon as like different companies realize something's like off, they're training off of like different like promotional art and such, like stuff that is copyrighted and it's from the official accounts. It's like there's something that I think is gonna come up from that. I think realistically one day.
mhm.
I think
This-
right now where the music thing is testing the waters, because regardless of what music video and whatnot, it all falls underneath like fair use law, other stuff. Like, I'm not the best person to talk about legal advice. I'm not legal advisor. Just want to put that out there, but mostly been following it, just see how things change, honestly, because I've been invited to different like studies as far as getting my opinion on it. Like recently I was rejected on one because like it was like something related to like different recording stuff, and it's like I just didn't feel like I would have been a good candidate anyways, and it's like just how things go. But I will say that there is certain good tools. Like I think one I like is like with audio editing, there's an AI that can remove like that can remove like silent takes and just do it in like a few clicks, and that saves like me like
a lot
of time basically. And I think that something like that doesn't feel as bad as like generative, because I feel like that's a tool. Like I'm using that to just trim audio. Everything's else still my own stuff. Like yes, I could have theoretically hired someone else to do that, but at the same time, if I was going to edit myself, which is a better way to put it, it's like I feel like that argument's a little bit a misnomer at that point. Like that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern with AI for me is when I was looking for art to be commissioned, I was getting
Yeah.
contacted by all these art commissioners, and they were actually using AI to generate what I was asking them.
Oh.
And I'm wondering on how deep is that going to go before you can't tell. You know what I mean?
I think that we'll reach that point, but at the same time, what's going to change it as far as I think copyright law is just going to get stricter, most likely. I think that's going to affect creators across the board, and we should be ready for that as soon as it happens. I feel like
definitely.
I think that's something that's important, because I think fair use easily could be broken up if companies want to try to do that right now. If they didn't like content creators like using their stuff for fair use purposes, they could try right now to try and get like stamp that out if they want to. So there's good and bad to this for sure. But I did want to ask, with your like work process, are you more of like a work in silence type, or you prefer like constant like collaboration, like checking in and out, like when you're like editing for someone else, like back when you did editing?
When I did editing, I would usually finish my projects in one day. So I would get the project and I would just stay up until it's done. Sometimes that was
I don't
not
know how
as
you
late.
do that.
Sometimes that wasn't as late. Other times that was pretty late.
Okay.
So when I got a project, sometimes I'd be up until like 4 a.m. editing it and finishing it, and I would just send it, and I would go to bed.
I think so far for my editing career, I haven't been late for someone, as far as I remember. There's been times where I've canceled projects for sure, and that comes to collaborations as well, because sometimes I think either me or the creator's not into the project enough, and I just think it's not worth continuing. Or at the time, it's like a knowledge gap, because there was one point, like I'll say this one now, we were working like on a Bleach What If, and the problem was I didn't know enough, like with 1,000-Year Blood War, what context be useful. But now, because I know basically all I need to at this point, I could start on it and have it done probably by the time the anime comes back, most likely, because I have the context I need at this point.
We were working on a Bleach What If.
I wouldn't mind bringing that back if you want to.
I can't. I think it was like something with the Fullbringers.
So the idea was if the Fullbringers convinced like Ichigo to work with them, basically was the idea.
That's right. What would change? That's right.
Like the idea is like Ginjo shows up like really early And he's like, you know what? You can't trust Soul
Oh, they're
Reapers.
with him in the Soul Society too.
Like, that's what I liked about it, because there's a bunch of power scaling implications that work, because they're later enough in the series that they have good enough feats that they can get by with a lot of stuff.
Yes, I
And the
remember
thing is,
now.
like, we had to sort out different fights, and we had to combine, like, everybody to take down one person because they didn't have their, like, abilities unlocked at that point, was the idea.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that it was the game encounter. That's what we had to do, because Ichigo was basically cooked at that point. So we had to have everybody team up on him to effectively take him down. Which is
That was a fun project. I think we did a few voice calls too. I think it was like 3 or 4 to get to where we were at.
I wouldn't mind going back to it. We had a majority of it done, honestly. And with what I know with Thousand Year Blood War and like how they played a role, like it's definitely gonna be a lot different. Like it would be interesting for sure. Now the question is, like, would Ichigo betray him and work for the Quincy's? Now that could happen. There's a lot of interesting stuff, implications there that could come up theoretically.
It would be. It would.
And the other thing is, we didn't get to the point like discussing like Ichigo's like dad and his involvement, and that was something I wanted to discuss some point with that what if, because we didn't get to that point. I feel like that's something that was kind of missing, because I think he would have became involved a lot sooner.
No, I agree.
I did want to ask another thing, like, how do you like prepare like when you're like developing like video, like scripting, whatnot? Like, I didn't ask about that. I asked about the video editing portion. I didn't ask about that other aspect.
So when I'm developing an idea, I typically do like kind of like a 3-part process. I create kind of like an outline for what I want to talk about, the different sections I think that are going to be in the script. And then from the outline, I move on to like a draft. And then with the draft, I'll edit it. I'll read through it, make sure everything sounds good before I kind of create like a final copy. Sometimes I'll throw the draft into ChatGPT and be like, hey, let me know if I have any like leaps in logic, or please correct my grammar that's incorrect. And it'll correct my grammar. It'll let me know if something I said doesn't make much sense. And then I'll take what it tells me, kind of fix it up my script using that. So like if it says, oh, this idea doesn't really work, then I'll go in and I'll change that idea that I have. And then once I have my final script, my final copy, that's when I record the audio, edit the audio, and then throw it in Premiere and start the video editing process, or send the audio to an editor and have them edit the video. A lot of my editors are gone though now, or they just are way too inconsistent. Not you. I'm more so talking about the others that I've worked with. Where
I think what happens is that I know one that is an ex-friend of mine. What unfortunately happens that he prioritized like way larger clients, so he would just take people's money and just hold on to it. And you don't know when you're getting the video.
Exactly. Like they would accept a deadline, and I wouldn't mind if like you need more time and you tell me, or if we were like, hey, up front, just be upfront with it, or if it's like something that comes up like an emergency, just let me know. You know, that's different than just like ghosting the client. Which I've had that experience with 3 or 4 editors now, where like they just ghost the client completely.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think what I prefer to do, which I think you've noticed, that I'd rather send you something that I feel like's incomplete, but at least you have something to look at and ask for anything you want done. I think that's a lot better as far as communication goes.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or even like, hey, this is what I have so far. Can I have another day or 2 or something like that? Like that is huge.
Well, I think there was one time with the MHA video, I think you said like, oh, there's a black screen here. Can you see what happened? It's like, oh, a layer was turned off. So I turned it back on, just resent it, basically.
And that was light work. You've never turned in anything late for me. You've always been pretty quick with the turnaround.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
I mean, you'd stay up to date too, which I think is always good. That's why I like to see from an editor. Like when something's finished, I like to be told. I like status updates from the editors I work with, because I don't expect people to edit how I edited, where I would like do everything in one night, you know, and finish a project.
I think it's fine if it's
expectations.
I think it's fine if there's something like that needs to get out. Like I remember when like the new Netflix like Devil May Cry like anime came out, and I needed to get a video done, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it, It's like I'll just get it done in a couple days. So that way we can release it along with everybody else. It's gonna look, maybe some points will need touch up, and I think that's when you get a better aspect, when the actual content creator is still good at editing, because that's the thing that you will lose if you only go with other editors, because you will not have the skill anymore as well as you were, because you're now relying on someone else to do essentially part of your job, is the best way to put it.
No, yeah, no, definitely. It's a skill that you lose if you don't upkeep it.
I did want to discuss some topical things and off here, so I wanted to ask your opinion with this one question in regards to Netflix, since I was thinking about it earlier. So with Netflix like labeling like Western production shows like Castlevania, Seis Manos, Blood Zeus, like as anime, do you think this is starting to blur like the cultural artistic definition of what anime truly is? And how do you think this could reshape or may even like confuse like global audiences like with their opinions on the medium?
Fine. In the sense is like, what is anime short for? It's short for animation. In Japan, they see American cartoons as anime. It's really just more so the West where we make that distinction.
I think that's what's interesting if like a bunch of like anime like watching sites, because they don't include other stuff like from Western animation. So it's like, is there like a divide that was created and now it's kind of being meshed up now because of what's going on?
But like, it's even like, for example, a lot of people wouldn't like complain when people call Chinese animation anime, like Chinese anime as anime, or like Korean anime as anime.
Like Zehi 2, like that's like the biggest animated movie now in the world, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. To me, when I think of anime, I think of a pretty distinct art style that does spawn from Japan. So usually when I refer to something as an anime, that's what I'm talking about. If an American show has that art style or goes for that gimmick, I might even call it a name, like Avatar or like Ruby, for example, or like Castlevania is another great example where it has that aesthetic that's going for. And I don't really see a problem with that. I think the things come in, like, at the end of the day, what somebody calls something shouldn't matter too much. I don't think it has as big of an impact on culture as a lot of people give it credit for. Like, I've seen people that get upset when something isn't made from Japan and it's called anime.
Yeah, there's definitely people like that.
But like, I don't mind. I at the end of the day, like I said, in Japan, the most Americanized cartoon is referred to as animated. Like,
I think stuff gets confusing though when you have Rick and Morty, then you have Rick and Morty the anime. It's like, okay, that's great.
Exactly.
Why did you do this?
It is because, I mean, when people think anime, they're thinking of a distinct art style. I mean, our English definition is hand-drawn and computer-generated animation originating from Japan. That's our definition, but that's not the actual definition of the people that create anime. So it just depends. So it makes sense because Rick and Morty, the anime, is not appealing to people from Japan. It's appealing to Americans. So because we kind of make that distinction here in the West, which I don't think needs to be made, that's why it's called Rick and Morty, the anime, versus Rick and Morty.
The funny thing is I literally watched like one episode for a video's editing. I couldn't really get through it, and that was it. As someone who liked Rick and Morty, the anime is just not something I could get into, unfortunately, which is really weird to say, honestly.
Yeah. No, I mean, it might just be weird. I mean, I thought that the art style looked a little iffy.
I mean, I think what I might do is like way down the line, if there's like nothing, like if Rick and Morty, let's say it gets canceled after a season for whatever reason, I might pick it up if I really cared to get that itch again. But that's literally it, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
I did want to ask something else. In a time like where we're sharing like honest opinions about media, whether positive or negative, like we're reaching a point where it can create like intense backlash. How do you feel as someone who likes to talk about like media? How do we navigate the line between integrity but also like self-preservation, like not to cause like something?
I used to be a lot more cautious than I am now.
That's fair.
And now I've kind of come to the point where if I say something that gets me canceled, but something I genuinely believe in, then it's worth it to me because that's my genuine thoughts. We live, like you said, in a time where if I say the wrong thing, cancel immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing.
For you. Like, if you say the wrong thing, then people have to like separate from you or stop talking to you. So Do I think about what I'm saying before I say it? Sometimes, yeah. But at the same time, none of my actual views I feel like are super cancelable for the most part. In the sense is there's nothing I believe it's horrible. Are there opinions I have that the internet might disagree with? Yeah, I'm sure. Nobody's gonna agree 100% when it comes to politics or religion.
Oh yeah,
That holds a lot of contention. But I also don't think people should be canceled for those views unless they hurt other people. As that's my big contrasting thing. I think cancel culture is kind of a horrible environment. My rule is nobody deserves to get canceled unless they've actually brought harm on another person.
that's for sure.
It
That's
just depends on
important to think
how people define harm.
Yeah.
Too. But that's my big view. A lot of people get canceled for very small things that aren't that big of a deal. But the people that do get canceled that deserve it, there are definitely people that don't deserve to have a platform for some of the things they've done. There are definitely people with a platform that shouldn't have a platform because of things they've done.
I will say, me adaptation was something else I was wanting to talk about, but I'll save that for some other time. But do you have anything you want to end off with before we close out here? Stuff to promote, whatnot?
No, yeah, check out. I was gonna think of a joke, but I can.
That's fine.
That's a good spot to end it. With me not being able to think of a joke.
I will say, hopefully our upcoming project, we'll get to it. We haven't had time to talk about it yet because live stuff. But once we do, it's basically a lot of it's just like researching, like consuming media and understanding different aspects. If I see something, it's like, hey, we should bring up this thing to highlight to like a certain like anime arc, whatever. Like that's something we can do. And also, I like to thank Poxal for cosplaying as Steve from Minecraft and the Jack Black version. It was really nice of him to do that for this episode.
Definitely cosplaying as Steve. I am Steve. Bring those chickens to the movie theater.
That was crazy when they did that, but
they abandoned the chicken after.
Oh yeah, that was awful. But I hope y'all enjoyed. We're gonna end things off here. We'll see ya in the next one. And this is Drew from What If You Ever sign out. And excited to interview more non-what if people this year. And check out the last one if you haven't. I'll see ya next time.
Bye bye.